Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hi, Jacques. I'm so sorry.
What are you drunk?
No, no. I'm going to play the two children's card.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we've moved from. I'm very late, and I'm very sorry. And we've moved from one child with Wilder to two now with baby Casper,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
it's proving tough. Yeah. I've, I've, Grace has gone out with them. I think she's taken Wilder to nursery. I had to go back to sleep once Wilder waking up, and I said, "Could you wake me up at 9?" She did do that, and I just fell asleep and didn't get back up. And while
Right.
Wilder is doing this thing at night, where she wakes up, and then I try and put her back down into bed, and then she says, "No, lie down, Daddy," and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is real. No, lie down, Daddy. And I have to then go, I'm not lying down. I'm not lying down. And I have to sit up. And so I'm sat up. It's like 4 a.m. I'm sat up, right? And then I go to lie down, and she goes, "No, lie down." Like, I'm not lying down. I'm not lying down. And then I think, right, I'll kind of slowly try and lean back into a lie down from the sit up. So I'm kind of now, I'm like in the air, stuck between. It's like a tough sit up, stuck between sit up and lie down. And then she'll say, "No, lie down." And I'll go, and I'm pleading with her, and I'm going, "Please, this isn't a lie down. Come on, this is still a sit down. This is still sitting. I'm not lying. Please, please." So I really didn't sleep last night, and Grace woke me up at 9, and I fell immediately back to sleep. And I had that awful thing where my eyes opened and I knew, oh my God, I slept in. I've not had that in years.
No.
Horrible.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's okay.
I think you've slightly done Wilder a disservice by characterizing her as a Gestapo prison guard. It probably wasn't intentional, but that's how it came across. No, lie down.
Let me tell you now, the impression was accurate.
How is Mildred coping with it all? Is Mildred with you now?
So this is what I'm going to tell you. Of course, Mildred, it's because we've now finally moved in after all this time. Just to ease ourselves in a little bit, Mildred has remained at Grace's parents, just to soften, to try and soften them. I mean, I have to say, and I actually miss Mildred, and I'm very much looking forward to her being here. But that was not a Freudian slip. My God, that's going to be something. That's going to be something.
Yeah.
2 kids and Mildred, and as well, this blooming bed is on the floor at the moment. The one that I'm lying in with Wilder. So Mildred's going to be all over that. It's going to be...
Right, yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Why is the bed on the floor? Is it just you haven't got the rest of the bed? Is it just a mattress? Is that what it is?
Yes. Yes, Jack. Yes, you got me. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yes.
That's just...
Yes. And
maybe get the rest of the bed.
I will get eventually. There will be the rest of the bed. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I've also been occupied because I've been I'm busy watching you all over the telly. Have you ever had a thought about maybe just having a break? Jack? Just have a break.
It just comes in. For some reason, I just got asked to do various things all at once, and you know how it is.
I've said this in the WhatsApp group. You're on telly more than Ramesh at the moment. Do you want to just leave it out?
That's some doing. But I did the Jonathan Ross show, and Jonathan was very keen to show your outing at Crufts.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Jonathan was keen, was he?
He was keen. He wanted to show. That's the one.
Oh, we need a clip from Oh My Dog, and you went, "Why don't we get the one where Seann gets speared to the ground by a police dog?"
I can't remember exactly how it went, but I don't know. Anyway, long story short, they showed it, and it was a big hit. So you should be pleased.
Thank you.
It's the gift that keeps on giving,
I
Sean.
know.
It is. Yeah. So it's great.
Someone stopped me in the street. That's when you know.
Mhm.
That's when you know you've made it. Oh, I
Yeah.
saw you at Juniper Ross. Oh yeah, taking down my police dog. Cheers. Thank you. It's going well. Oh dear.
Yeah, well.
So how's Dolly?
Well, Dolly is really well because I think I said last week that Jane had gone away for a sort of yoga retreat in Spain. She went away for a week,
Oh,
so I
yes.
was with Dolly on my own. And
Didn't fancy that?
no, not for me. The yoga can't. No, not doing that. I've always said it's just thin people showing off yoga. I'm not doing it.
Oh my God! What I would do to see you with your legs behind your head.
Oh dear.
Well, that's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, they can do. Some of them can. Yeah, if you really take it to that extent and don't kind of control yourself and stop while you can.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so
she and
there was
Dolly?
massive. Dolly was quite quiet, if I'm honest, with me.
Okay.
You know, it was a little bit subdued, and it was all like every time a car went past, it was like, "Is that she back?"
Yeah.
I know. So she was on high alert and just a little bit. Not under the weather. She wasn't not well, but she wasn't exactly. After about 4 days, she started to cheer up a bit. And then, of course, Jane got back, and it was just you should have seen her. She was darting around the house, you know, the zoomies.
Yes,
we get
the
this thing, the
zoomies,
zoomies,
yes.
where she just jumps on the sofa and she'll spring around like a little spring lamb, and she'll jump across from one sofa to the other.
That's so
and
lovely.
it's the amazing expression of happiness. It's extraordinary.
Yes.
I love how open dogs can be about their emotions like that. They're just like, I'm so happy.
I know.
Brilliant.
Did Jane miss Dolly? Because obviously you're used to going away,
yeah.
but Jane, I imagine, not so much, not as much as.
Oh no, it's yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
And to the extent that she's kind of thinking she needed to go and do this thing, but she just thinks, I just don't know if I want to do that again and leave her. It is terrible. We've gone too far with Dolly. We're just so besotted with her. It's crazy when you can't actually, happily leave. If we were doing it all over again, I think we would have tried to get her used to staying somewhere else. But it's hard to say that, with a dog that you've given a home to who needed a home. And then you start kind of messing with their psyche by saying, yeah, it's not really a home because you're going to go and stay here for a bit now.
That's really interesting you say that, actually. Things that you almost, maybe regret's a bit strong, but something that you might, if you could do it again, you might look at changing.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing, actually, for the listeners. I'd like to hear them get in touch with something like that they think that if they could go back, they might change. I think for me, that would probably... It would probably it would be that.
How long have we got?
I would say not the sleeping on bed, but just nipping the barking at the wheels thing in the bud.
Oh yes, yeah. But you're working on all this. You're working on all this, aren't you? You've been working on the taking Mildred out on the lead into the garden
when she has been to the new place. That's absolutely essential, and maybe a bit of it. It's a bit of a chance for us to reset a couple of things like that, because we can't. Especially with the crying at night. I mean, the neighbours must absolutely hate us. So the crying
from the children, you mean? Yeah. I see. Yeah.
Just me at like, why won't they laugh, Grace? I turn up, they just won't laugh. No, yes, from the kids at night. That plus Mildred barking at night would just be too much, which I've said before. So I'm working on it, and it's really good. And again, just in case we do have any new listeners, and you have, I can't believe it's got to the point where I am giving advice, but it does work. If you're having problems with your dog barking outside, a very quick way to nip this in the bud is to take them out on the lead into the back garden. If they bark, walk them back in, walk them back out again, and every time they bark, to simply walk them back in. And Mildred has just very quickly got the message. So, well, that's working. That's working.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, does Mildred do that when she's at your parents-in-law?
Again,
Grace's parents.
Yes, yeah, no. When I was there, we got into what's actually, out of curiosity, and for you, Sarah, as well. What is the do you have a set time for when you let them out for their last toilet?
I let Juniper go out whenever she feels like it. So last night was midnight for her last little jaunt around the garden, and then she came back in.
So are you up? So are you up at midnight?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm up very late because of everybody going to bed late.
So you just let them... Oh, that's interesting.
Then I know that she's good until about 8 in the morning. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
What about you, Jack? What about Dolly?
Dolly, well, we have this business with her when we're watching telly where she tries to distract us. And every 20 minutes or so, she'll start playing up and jumping around. And it means you've got to pause the TV and take her outside. And then the pretense is that she's, she doesn't even do it. She doesn't do anything. She'll do a little curtsy and look round at me and go, look, I'm having a pee. So, because she's got it in her head. That's how she gets a treat out of me. And I can't be bothered with it. I can't be bothered with it anymore. In the end, I just said, I know you don't want to go. So here's a treat anyway. So we had to pause White Lotus about 8 times last night. It was the final of White Lotus. And it sort of takes the tension out of it when you're doing that every 5 minutes. But she doesn't half play you up on those things. Anyway, so she doesn't really go out any at all after that because she's been messing us around all evening anyway.
Yes, all right, yeah. Understood. So yeah, Mildred is at 10 p.m. That's toilet time,
right?
Okay. And when I was doing that at Grace's parents, because their garden was so big, it wasn't a case like if you open that back door, she's off. It was like a park. So there was really no controlling the barking. So at that 10 o'clock let out, I had to put her on the lead and just walk her off the steps for a wee. And again, quiet. There's an initial bark, and then she just stayed off from barking.
That's
so yeah,
good.
that's
I
really
think
worked.
this is great. It's obviously great progress you've made. It was a good move to actually sort of act on it and try and get excellent.
No, fantastic.
Excellent.
So well, we've got some emails.
We have got some emails. Do you want to read the first one?
I do. Once it's loaded up on my iPad.
I can read it for you if you want. I can read it. Okay.
There we go.
Hello, Jack, Sean, and Sarah. Following on from your discussion about how we refer to grown-up dogs as boys and girls, I recently took my 5-year-old Labrador Lola to the vet. As the vet and I both held Lola steady for the procedure, I was softly saying, "Good girl." The vet, in quite a firm tone, started saying, "Good lady." This carried on for a while until I started laughing. I apologized to the vet, telling her it just sounded so strange calling her a lady, to which she abruptly said, "Well, she's 35 in dog years." I had to stand my ground, so I replied, "She'll always be my baby," and we left it at that. I don't think I'm ready to start referring to my dogs as good men and ladies. Thanks for all the laughs, Jessica. Well, I mean, with a vet like that, you need someone to go for some laughs, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's it's kind of pedantic, isn't it, to say that?
Oh, yeah.
I know, but there you go. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought of it, though. I'm happy. This goes back to me saying that why do we call them boys and girls, even though when they get older,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think. Yes, I suppose that's true. But I think anyway, Juniper agrees clearly. Is that Juniper in the background? Yeah.
Yes.
She's saying, yeah.
She lets herself known these days.
Yeah, the vet's wrong, she says. The vet's wrong. I'm a girl.
Yes.
I'm a mummy's girl. Yeah.
She is.
Yes, very serious vet there. We have another email from Sarah who says, "Hi all, not putting your names in on purpose as I don't want Seann to feel less important." Good. I'll take that. Thank you, Sarah. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Because he's had enough already, you know.
I'm a couple of weeks behind, so just listening to the one where Mildred ate a pack of butter. I have a little rescue pup who's about 9 months old called Pip. Squeak! She's a terrible scavenger. We live on an olive farm in Catalonia, and she scoffs as many olives that have fallen on the ground into her mouth as she possibly can. And yes, the stones come out in her poop. Love the podcast. The Spanish people must see me as the mad woman who laughs a lot in her car. Saludos from Spain. Sarah.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And if the sales in olives drop off a cliff after that's gone out, you've only yourself to blame. It's not the most appetizing advertisement for olives, is it? There's a type of coffee, isn't there? A very expensive type of coffee. And why it's so expensive is it has to be eaten by monkeys first and then excreted. Then, yes. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of this, yeah.
And that, so it gets comes out the other end. And anyway, I'm not saying you should do that with olive stones. No. But
I know what to get you for Christmas though. This time round.
This coffee tastes. Yeah, well, it is. Yeah.
Well, I think it's time for our wonderful guest.
Yes, we've got a very special guest, haven't we? Niall Harbison is an Irish entrepreneur, author, and passionate animal advocate, best known for his work rescuing and caring for street dogs. After a successful career, including founding 2 businesses and writing for major publications, Niall shifted his focus to animal welfare. Living in Thailand, he now dedicates his life to saving thousands of stray dogs, sharing their stories with the global audience through social media and his best-selling book, Hope, and his new book, Tina. So we really do want to hear all about Niall's amazing achievements and his passion for saving dogs.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi Niall, you all right?
Hi Niall.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Am I all hooked up tech-wise? I don't know.
I think you are. Are you in Thailand now?
I am. I'm actually on the balcony, so it's like I wanted to give you a jungle vibe, but I can go into the office if you want it quieter.
No, it's great. There's a slight delay, but otherwise it's very good. So thank you for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Dave.
And so Niall, would just give us a little synopsis of how you ended up rescuing dogs and doing amazing work in Thailand.
Oh, it's a long story, but the really short version is I used to work in the corporate world and I hated it. And I wanted to move somewhere a bit hotter because I was living in Manchester. And then I came over here, became an alcoholic, nearly drank myself to death, ended up in ICU, and then just found salvation in dogs. That's the very short version of it, basically.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So you were really quite ill, and it feels like there was a sort of an epiphany for you with these dogs, where you realised that there was more to life. Perhaps is that fair to say than just drinking and self-interest?
Exactly that. It's just I always used, like everybody, I used to think it was about mortgages and iPhones and whatever you're into yourself. But yeah, the dogs nearly dying had a big effect on me. That was the sort of eye opener. And I always loved dogs, but yeah, just that's how I got into the dogs at the start. It was just I always loved dogs, but the sort of mission of my life only started after nearly dying, basically.
Yeah.
Was there a certain moment, Niall, that this really hit you with dogs?
If you look at it from in a romantic sense, I was on the
Yes.
hospital bed, and I sort of said dogs is my calling. But of course, it doesn't really work. Like, it probably took about 6 months in terms of a process, and I fed one dog, and uh, then it was two dogs and four dogs, and it sort of, but it did evolve very quickly. But it's not like it is in the movies where you just sort of wake up and it
Yes.
happens. I mean, I nearly drank myself to death, so I was quite sick and like a mental breakdown, really. So it took a while to sort that out, clear that fog.
Yeah. Why are there so many dogs needing help in Thailand, or are there just similar amounts of dogs in any country you go to, do you think? Or what have you found?
No, I think if any of you guys or your listeners have been out here, like there's 8 to 10 million street dogs in Thailand, which is,
Wow.
My
massive.
God.
And it's an overpopulation, not managed issue rather than cruelty. Or like Thai people are no more cruel than, Europeans or Americans. It's just there's too many dogs, really, and they suffer horrendously all across Asia, actually.
Yeah. And then you had is it your second book, Tina? Yeah. So
Yeah.
who is Tina? Tell us a little bit about that, because it looks like a great book. Tell us about Tina.
Yeah, I mean, you come across a lot of characters and a lot of very sorry dogs, but Tina was very unusual. She was a golden retriever, and I found her on a chain, and if you see a photo of her, I can never describe it in as many words, but she was just broken. She'd been used for breeding. She was living in her own mess, and I rescued her, and she only lasted for 6 months, but we got her back to full health, first of all, and she was amazing, like a real... I think everybody has maybe a soul dog, or like you have a soul person or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think she was a soul dog, and then we got the bad news she was going to die, but she lived her life unbelievably, and we've built a hospital in her honor, and we sterilize actually 7,000 dogs every month.
Yeah.
A lot of it in her memory.
Yeah, it's a very important part of the program that you run out there, it seems, is to sterilize the dogs so that they don't, I suppose partly they don't get used for breeding. Is that right? And partly don't just reproduce endlessly and just keep coming up with more dogs that need help.
Yeah, otherwise it's a game of like whack-a-mole, you're just going around trying to scoop up thick dogs, and you're never gonna fix the problem. So it's not very sexy or exciting for most people. Sterilizing is a little, people want to see a puppy makeover or a dramatic rescue.
Sure.
But the sterilizing is what we do, is the sort of the puppy, the rescues kind of get people interested, but the real work we do is the sterilizing.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, so I first came across your work when I saw the video of you going around Thailand feeding. I think at that time it was 80 dogs around the island. Yeah. Is this the video that actually got the world's attention? Because you've got over 1 million followers, 1.3 million followers now.
I wouldn't say it was one video, but yeah, that I think that captured people. It was a really tough time when I started for the world. It was like Brexit and COVID and Ukraine and all that stuff, like heavy. Not that it's any different now, but I just said I'd put something positive into the world with dogs. It's not exactly a very light subject, that we're dealing with, but I just wanted to make characters and give people a bit of smile. So I cooked them Christmas dinner one year, the street dogs, and just try to make it a little bit of fun. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah. One of the things that comes through on the videos I've seen on Instagram, and for me, it's one of the most moving things about it, is how kind the dogs are to each other. Is that a thing that you observe all the time, or?
I think there's a little bit of selective editing. Now, the ones that I know, they know that there's enough food coming from me. Like they've got used to it, like your own dogs. I was looking at your guys' dogs on Instagram, but if you have 3 dogs in the kitchen and you come in with, a big steak, they're gonna fight each other probably. So yeah, the ones that I know are they know more food is coming, but no, so they definitely defend their turf, and they have to survive on the streets. So it's not all. It's not all bed of roses.
Yeah.
You say that about it not being all a bed of roses. It must be quite difficult to witness some of the things that you see out there.
Yeah, like what you don't see on this camera is behind me. I've got like heat packs on my back because I've like trapped a nerve from stress. Like we had, like in the last 2 weeks, I've seen a dog shot. We saw dogs
Oh
poisoned. We've seen,
my
like, if
God.
you've ever seen a dog poisoned, it's a pretty traumatic experience. I mean, I'm guessing 99% of people
Yes.
haven't, but it's
I
pretty
mean, I can
horrible, you know?
imagine. Yes.
Intentionally poisoned as well is
Oh.
pretty hard to take.
Do you have a problem? Do you get emotionally attached to any of them? That must be very hard when you see so many coming in and out of your life. There must be some that really just, like, a bit like Tina. They just capture you. And what do you do about it?
Yeah, there's no sort of playbook. They don't hand you a, how to save dogs manual, and it is really, really tough.
Yeah.
Like I've known some dogs only 2 or 3 weeks, and they hit you just as much as a pet does when they die. It's really, really tough. So it is. I think you learn to be you have to be kind of cold-hearted, but it's easier said than done.
No, for sure, sure. And I mean, did you grow up with dogs? Where did is there an affinity there in the first place?
I didn't, because I actually wasn't allowed one. Like my dad wouldn't let me have one, just because, like, so many parents there, like they think they're going to end up looking after it, I guess. So I wasn't allowed one, which I slag my dad for now. But no, I always loved it. And then I had apartments when I lived in Dublin, and then as soon as I got my first house, I was like, this next morning I was in a shelter and I got my first dog. But I was about 30, I'd say, about 30, 29, 30.
Yeah. So do you have a dog in the house with you? Do you that are actual pets as well as the ones you rescue? That's what I was going to get to.
I have. They kind of cut my place is the, what do you call that, where people go to die? A hospice.
Hospice.
At the very end of their lives, they come up here for a bit of care, because it's, even the shelter we have, it's nice for them to come up here. So I do have one dog, Hank, but I've had 4. Some died. Some will come. Some will go for a week. I try and not have too many in the house, because it's kind of I'm quite busy doing the other stuff, and I need as much time as that. But yeah, the hard part is you sometimes forget why you got into it, which is the dog. You're so busy with dogs.
It's quite a broad question, Niall. But what is it about dogs in particular that you love so much, and that you chose to kind of go that extra mile for?
I think they're just. Well, I think it's the loyalty and the simplicity and the living in the moment, really. I was a very bad alcoholic, and Snoop, my dog, who was with me, and I had depression, I don't mind talking about that, for 10 years. And Snoop was unwavering in his loyalty and love for me, even when I wasn't at my best. So
Yes.
I think just and their ability to live in the moment. We all have our heads buried in screens and, the misery of life or the struggle of life, whereas the dogs just, some of them, what they've been through, they can just, their ability to live in the moment and just forget everything is just amazing, I think.
And so in the house where you live, are they allowed on the furniture? What kind of setup is it?
There's kind of no rules, really, I think I've long given up on trying it. We have a little bit of structure at the Happy Doggo Land where we have the dogs. We can't just have them, bouncing off the roof. But no, we try and give them a really good life as well.
Are you quite good at training dogs? Is there a connection between what you do and training them?
No, I'm not amazing at it, because I don't have much patience, which is not. Okay. I think you need patience, and so I'm not. But there's a couple of people there who are brilliant at it. But I'd be more sort of shouting at them to come back, and they ignore me type vibes.
So I was going to ask Niall, how do you fund all of this? Is it via donations, and how do people get in touch with that?
Yeah, just donations. I just started it. I actually had savings myself when I sold my businesses, and not a huge amount, but enough to buy food every day for dogs. And I had no plan beyond that. And then as it grew, people have become interested, and donations now. It's a registered charity in the UK and America. So we feed 1,200 dogs every day, fresh food. There's a lot of
fantastic.
There's a lot of parts. We've got a little kitchen for the dogs down there, which is, we make them a recipe of rice, chicken, eggs, pumpkin, So the street dogs are like probably eating better than all of us.
Yeah,
But,
Yes.
yes,
If people want to donate, though, how can they do that?
just on the website. But what I actually do is I
Okay.
kind of get people to. I just say come watch the videos, like, and I never ask anybody for any money. Like, people kind of figure out that you need money to. I just don't want to be one of those charities that are like, oh, send money, it's a disaster, we're going to close down. You know, which is I want to just be positive.
Oh,
Also, in
great.
Tina's a part of Tina's legacy, you've set up a hospital. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I buried her there at the land, and that's why I wrote this book. Was just like every penny I make goes towards that hospital. I wanted somewhere, like, she didn't have the best medical care. We got her everything she needed, but there's some dogs that we're on a tropical island and we don't have everything here. So I just, in her honor, wanted to build a hospital that would. I thought that was a good way to celebrate her, that so many dogs would get treated in her memory.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
And you're over here doing talks next month, aren't you? I'm going to come along actually to one of your talks.
Oh, brilliant. Make sure you message me. I'll get you a good seat or whatever happens at talks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What can we expect?
Do you know what? I was just looking at Jack, your tour there, and on Instagram before the call, and I was like, what am I meant to talk? I have to come up with something. I'm not a comedian. I have to do like a story, and I have this fear now of like people are just going to be sitting there like, bored. But I think if I talk about dogs, I'll be okay.
I imagine that's what people will expect. So,
Yes.
and are you being interviewed on stage? Is that how you're doing it, or are you just going to go on and talk?
Well, I think what I was thinking is maybe a little talk about the vision, and then interview after that, and get the audience involved. But I'm no expert.
I'm sure that'll be a great way to do it, and I'm sure it'll be very well attended as well. Especially when there's a book attached to it, people love those things, and to hear the story from the person directly. Yeah. So the way we always end our interviews, Niall, is to ask this one question: do you let any of the dogs, kiss you on the mouth?
Absolutely. Like Hank, the one I've got at the moment, is a big. I guess he's a pit bull. He just was rescued from a terrible situation. He just like slabbers up and down my mouth with his huge tongue. So it's like an assault, a physical assault on my face when he licks me. So it's
Well, that's good. That's really good to hear. I wasn't sure which way that was going to go, and I'm slightly pleased that you answered it like that. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you also really for all the work you do on behalf of all those dogs that you're helping. It's incredible.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we will put a link on our webpage so that people can come along to your talk and buy your books and even donate if they feel that's what they'd like to do. So thank you again for joining us.
And Niall, just quickly, what's your Instagram handle that people can follow you on?
Oh, it's just my name, Niall. Oh God, Harbison, Harbison.
Yeah,
I'm easy enough to find online.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We'll do.
Right, thank you
we'll
so
do
much.
that.
Well done on your podcast, guys. Anybody talking about dogs gets my vote.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Niall. Thanks for joining us.
Bless you. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Well, that was Niall Harbison live from Thailand. It's always an incredible thing, really. The work he's doing, and also that we can dial up and get him talking to us about it.
Incredible, incredible work, heartwarming work, and I mean, some of the things that he's mentioned there are absolutely horrific, and I'm so glad that someone's out there doing something about that.
So is Juniper, by the sound of things. She's like,
I'm trying to mute my microphone.
Juniper's been very loud today.
Yeah, she is. It's all very good stuff, she says. Yeah. Good old Niall.
Sorry.
What's she barking at?
Juniper. I think she thinks somebody's at the door. That's usually what it is.
Okay.
Juniper.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to grab her. One sec.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Not to worry. No, it's just me and Jack. We now don't know what to do with ourselves.
No. Help. Here she is.
Now?
Look. There we are. Yeah.
I love
There,
there you go.
Yeah.
The barking stopped. Okay, well, that's fantastic. Fantastic episode. Thank you for listening to Oh My Dog. We love getting all these insights from our guests, and we hope you're enjoying getting to know a different side of them through their love of dogs.
And we'll be putting all the links on our website, so you can find out all about Niall's work and where to donate if you feel you want to, or where to go and see his talk when he's over here. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fascinating. So, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at OMD Pod, and please do get in touch by emailing us at hello@omdpod.com and find us on Instagram at OMDpod. You'll find loads of extra content and videos there. You can send us your voice notes as well.
And don't forget to give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast to. And remember, a dog is for life, not just for podcasts.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Juniper? Great timing.
That was superb. You've been practicing that when I've not been here.